I should increase their volume and audio. Nobody asked me a question, so I thought that let me raise the question and answer it. So, what is the question? Question is simple. Question is simple, that what we learn from the four stages of a metaphor. Did you think of it? So unless we have a clear understanding, and majority of you have been attending the sessions and understanding that metaphor. So today we are going to talk about that how this metaphor of a canvas, first stage, that is equated to pure consciousness. Second stage is the causal stage. So we leave causal stage for a while, because if we start talking about it, we cannot summarize it. The third stage is the subtle body, subtle mind, reflected consciousness, moonlight, you can compare it. And the fourth is the painting. So now the causal stage, the subtle stage is all about the reflected consciousness, I thought, mind, intellect, all that. And the last, painting, is nothing is equated to the world. Say yes, you have understood that. What message this metaphor conveys, if we understand it, we will realize the real self today. So, what we are doing a self-inquiry. Why we are doing a self-inquiry? We want to know, who am I? So in that metaphor, the pure canvas, pure consciousness is the canvas, the reflected consciousness is the mind, and the world that manifests by the reflected consciousness. So we have to reach to the real self. The real self is already within. We have to reach. But anyhow, pay attention. So this master says that we are pure consciousness. We are neither the causal body, the subtle body, and the world. What it means, how we can understand by this metaphor. So there is a 4 factors of understanding. 4 or 5. Let me take 3 or 4. What is first understanding? Pure consciousness reveals reflected consciousness. What is it? It is I thought, the mind. And the mind reveals the world outside. If mind is not there, can you know me? I cannot know you. You cannot know me. We cannot have a virtual session. No computer, nothing else. No husband, no wife. So what is husband, wife, parents, objects, world? The world outside reveals by the pure consciousness? No, reveals by the mind. Mind reveals everything of the world except pure consciousness. Mind may say, I did not. So simple, like wave appears to exist in the water. What is that? That is the first understanding. Pure consciousness reveals reflected consciousness, but the mind does not reveal the pure consciousness. What is the second understanding? The world belongs to the mind, nothing belongs to the pure consciousness. Because if the mind is there, then only I know you, I told you just now. What we are doing? We are understanding through the metaphor that can be realized in become aware of the real self today, here and now. So the world belongs to the reflected consciousness or the mind. Mind and the world always is changing. Clear? Pure consciousness does not change. Canvas does not change. You wipe out all the painting and create another painting, another world, another mind. So what we recognize today, I am Stephen, I am Girish, I am Brandy, is because of the mind and the world, the reflected consciousness and the world, pure consciousness. Nothing happens to that pure consciousness. It's enjoying its presence. So what is the second factor? The mind and the world always changing, pure consciousness never changes. This is the message this master is giving us through this metaphor. And then what is the third understanding? What is real? Real is pure consciousness. Why it is real? Because it is never changing. And what is false? It is the mind and the world. Third understanding. What is the first understanding? What is the first understanding? That the pure consciousness, through this metaphor, pure consciousness is a canvas. So it reveals the three stages of a canvas: the causal, the subtle body, and the world outside. The painting. Painting is nothing but the world. I thought first. Second, what is the second understanding? World belongs to the mind and nothing belongs to pure consciousness. The world belongs to the reflected consciousness or the mind. Pure consciousness, it does not belong to the pure consciousness. Third understanding, what is real? Real is pure consciousness, it's canvas. You clean it and create another painting. So today's painting is soulmate and tomorrow painting is soulmate. After a few weeks, divorce. That is happening in the mind and the world, not happening in the pure consciousness. Those who have been attending this session regularly, they can really get it. So what should I do then? Remove all the wrong notion about me, recreate another world of others. We can do it anytime. Today I'm good, tomorrow I'm bad for you. But because pure consciousness does not change, the canvas remains the same. For example, in this metaphor, the reflected consciousness, the mind, and the mind that creates the world, that is constantly changing. That is why the Buddha says the first of the Four Noble Truths, world is suffering. Now, what is the fourth point? Let us take one more point. Pure consciousness is never affected, but the reflected consciousness is always affected. What is reflected consciousness? I thought in the mind. Is always affected. That is I thought, ego. We are understanding how this metaphor helps us to know the real self when, here and now. How? By self-inquiry. What we are doing the same thing. We are doing this self-inquiry. So keep in mind all the four aspects. Where are we now? If understanding is there, what is my experience? If understanding is clear, is here and now, what is our experience now? I exist without reflected consciousness and the world. Say yes. I exist without them. That is my experience. No, prove it. We will prove it. No worries. You just look. But be careful. Do not invite any thought in the mind. Look, feel, smell, touch, but no thought at all in the mind. You can see there exists a consciousness, there exists an awareness independent of the mind, independent of the world, independent of the body. I exist as a consciousness, not as a conscious being. The moment you say conscious being, it is I thought, it is the mind. Don't you experience an absence of ego? I experience absence of ego. What is that ego? Reflected consciousness. What is that in the metaphor? It is the third stage of the metaphor. So that pure consciousness has been named as a real self, as a witness consciousness, as a knower, not the known. Because that reflected consciousness is superimposed on the pure consciousness, it cannot dictate me. I exist. Are you clear? I experience that. You don't think, you don't see. You live in a dark room. You are still aware that you exist. The mind is not required. That is your canvas. That is pure consciousness. We are learning how these 4 stages of the metaphor helps us to see what is real self. Then who am I then? I am real self. I am pure consciousness. I am canvas. Everything on it is false. Why it is a false? Because it appears to exist, but it does not. That is why we give an example. What example? The waves appears to exist, but it does not. The mind appears to exist, but it does not. And because of the mind, the world exists, appears to exist, but it is not. Then who am I? Then I'm real self. I'm pure consciousness. I'm canvas. It is unchanging. Everything on it is false. Why it is a false? Why it is a false? I am negating I thought. I am negating the mind that is created in I thought. Who you are? I'm Girish as the name in the form. You are, I'm Stephen, name in the form. From where it comes? From the mind. It is constantly changing. Behind it, that is not changing, is pure consciousness. It is never affected. That is why it is the real self. The rest, mind in the world appears to exist, but it does not. What appears but does not can never be me. But who knows it is me? I am. What are you saying? Who knows it is me? Because I am consciousness. Consciousness knows itself by itself. It does not need the mind. But there is a problem. What is the problem? Problem that I, as a reflected consciousness, I thought in the mind, or what we say ego, third stage of manifestation, and second I is pure consciousness. Are you clear? Which one you choose? Which one you choose? I thought that creates the world, or the pure consciousness as I. You, which one to claim? Who am I? That is why the Buddha says the mindfulness meditation is an effortless, natural. It demands only an understanding which one we are. I believe you still are aware of the four stages of the metaphor. Why the master explained the four stages of the metaphor? So the mind can live into that awareness, that pure consciousness that is never affected, that never changes. You can create another painting by removing the first, change the again and again. That is what the mind and the world is doing to us. And that I have been claiming that is real me due to ignorance. But now we have understood that there are two I. One is the pure consciousness, and the other is the reflected consciousness, that is I am. So, whom to which one to claim? I don't claim, so I am suffering. I don't claim that I am the pure consciousness, cannot be affected by any change. It is done by the mind, it is done by the outer conditions, and that outer conditions are the word I am pure consciousness, canvas. Can I negate this? No. And then the miracle happens. What is that miracle? First, again, I'm repeating the couple of examples. The mirage water is revealed by the sand and the sunlight. Clear? Say yes. It cannot be separate from the mirage water. Very important point. The moment you are aware of that, you already know you are already in the meditative step. What that means? Mirage water is false. First, it is affected. Second, it appears to exist, but it does not. Third, but it cannot be separate from the sand and sunlight, because if the sand and sunlight is not there, mirage water will not exist. Am I clear? If the water is not there, the waves do not exist, but wave appears to exist, they are affected and they come and go. This mind come and go, the world comes and goes. What is the conclusion this master draws? What cannot be separate from me is false. That is the problem. What cannot be separate from me? Body, breath, mind, intellect, I thought. But at the same time, they are constantly changing. They are affected. Because they are constantly changing, they are affected, they cannot be separate from me. It is false, so I negate this I thought. What is left is the real I. I'm already aware of the real self. The real self is aware of the real self, not I thought. Now understand in a different way. Whatever we reveal, but that is one way. Whatever we reveal, if I use another phrase, whatever is seen and known by me is not me. It cannot be separate from me. I know body, cannot be separate from me. I know mind, cannot be separate from me. So because I know it, it cannot be separate from me, but it is false I. It is not the real I. We are understanding by the metaphor. You have already understood the metaphor. So through the metaphor, we are reflecting and we find the waves revealed by the water. Waves cannot never be separate from the water. What cannot be separate from the water is false, and what is false is not me. What is left? Pure consciousness. It means the pure consciousness here in this metaphor is the canvas. The pure consciousness reveals the mind, the world. Pure consciousness reveals the subtle body and the world. So mind is revealed, It appears to exist, but it does not. But at the same time, it cannot be separate from the pure consciousness. What is revealed is constantly changing, hence it is false. Whereas false means that appears to exist, but it does not. Now, I am that pure consciousness that cannot be negated. And what is not negated is the real self. I'm in meditation, I'm in mindfulness. Some people say it is a witness consciousness. That is also, there are different words. Don't I experience every day, every moment I exist without thought, without the world outside, free from the name and the form, free from the age, free from the pain in the body? So we can realize the importance of this metaphor. We should be very clear. What is known by me means what is revealed by so-called me cannot be separate from me, but it does not mean what is not separate, what cannot be separate from me is me. I reveal the mind and the world. When I see you, I reveal you. When you see me, you reveal me. So that is why I'm not you. You are not me. From where it is coming? From the mind, subtle mind. So negate it. So then we have what we have to negate. We have to negate that very I thought that is constantly revealing. Why to reveal? Why we say that it cannot be separate from me? Because that is how the entire existence is working. So the master gave us the word, anything that appears, I should not claim as I am. Then master goes little deeper. We are going little deeper. If I say I thought is a consciousness and there is a pure consciousness, can we have two pure consciousnesses? I know you. I thought. It appears as if I thought is a consciousness, but it is not. Because mind is a matter, thought is a matter. Are you getting? Not very deep, but it is very. We cannot have two consciousnesses. If I claim that I know you, this is a thought is a matter coming from the mind. If I say this mind is a consciousness, then we have one consciousness is the mind and other pure consciousness. We cannot have a luxury to have two consciousnesses. Consciousness is only always one. So I have to negate what is acting, what is playing its role. The moment you negate it, you are already in the real self. When I say I know you, it is ego, I thought, coming from the intellect or the mind. I'm repeating again. If is ego or mind has a consciousness of its own? No. Does the moon has its light of its own? No. We still use it's a moonlight. The fact is that there is no light in the moon. There is no light, there is no consciousness in the mind. Mind borrows the consciousness and starts acting as if It is one consciousness. So the master says I have to negate in my mind. The way I negate, painting appears from the canvas, but it is still the canvas. That canvas is not affected. I have already given an example. You remove the painting and create another painting. Oh, so you mean to say that pure consciousness is I am, and in the next birth, I may become Stephen. In the next birth, I may become Sam. Oh, yes. Yes. I may become Brandy. Brandy is beautiful. May become Jerry. Who knows? That we will take up later. But I'm just saying you, the constant changing that appears, that is a revelation that cannot be separate from me, but at the same time, I am aware of the painting is not separate from the canvas. This is the message this master gives in this metaphor. I thought has come, the speaker is speaking, and behind, but you are aware that speaker is speaking. It has lot of thoughts. It cannot be separate from the pure consciousness. So I have to reclaim who am I. The moment you claim who you are, that is unchanging, that is a witness consciousness, that is a knower, you're already there. You are into that state. So this master further says, you listen and learn from the teacher by which you know the real self indirectly. I said you that you are the real self. This knowledge is indirect knowledge to you. You have to work on it. You have to work on it. How? By self-inquiry. This master says, no, don't do it by practice. Inquire, contemplate, and reflect again and again. Sit. That is the indirect knowledge. What is indirect knowledge? Is you listen and learn from the teacher in the text that you are the real self. How long until? How long? Until you say directly that I am the real self. You reclaim it. You reclaim it. How? By self-inquiry. You reclaim it, not you do the practice. Who will be doing the practice? The I thought. So don't leave Mondays and Thursdays session because both principles move in a different direction. There I stress on, no, you have to practice. That is the beauty of this journey. So how long until you say directly that I am the real self? When I can say that I'm the real self without non-verbally, I'm just aware. So that is why I stress upon after listening and learning, you sit down, understanding the metaphor, contemplate and reflect. And when you contemplate and reflect, that is the self-inquiry. What will happen? As you are doing the self-inquiry with eyes closed, you'll be absorbed completely into that state. You will see, here is I am. No, but how long to conduct a self-inquiry? Do you ask me how long I have to drive when you have reached your home and parked the car inside the garage? You know by yourself. Don't ask me. Do you understand? You got married and you say, "Oh, am I married?" You have reached. It is done. Huh? You see the way the master answers. So what you do when you realize your real self, do you attend the session? That is the last point. you, have, you have already realized it, yes. So will you continue to attend this session? Answer is yes or no. You are confusing me. No and yes both. Now your mind moves you to the direct knowledge in every session you attend after you know that you are the real self. It becomes a joy. It becomes a play and a fun. No, if you don't attend, that is also okay. You have left all the principles. You have realized the real self. You don't need any principle. Unless you want to be a teacher, you want to explain to the others. You live into that state. There are thousands of people in India, they live. They don't want to say anything. They don't want to teach anything. Why? Because your self-inquiry has ended. I gave an example. When you reach your home driving the car, you have parked the car into the garage. You don't ask how long I have to drive. You know it by yourself. You know by yourself. That is the beauty of this teaching by this master. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed. We have completed the 17 verses, and now we will go to the next metaphor that I have briefly, roughly explained, and we will go deeper into it. So you have to keep your awareness and attention that what this metaphor is going to resolve, how it is going to resolve my ignorance. Eyes are closed and you are aware. I thought has closed the eyes. And eyes is a part of the body. And I know I am not the body. Done. So that is why I say it is a non-practice. It is a non-practice. But if you are doing it intellectually, it will not work. But you are doing intellectually with awareness, it will work now. And then you're comfortable. I thought means body, mind, thought, intellect, feeling, sensation, experiences. What do you mean? Yes. What do you mean? Sensation changes. Body is constantly changing. The mind is changing. That I thought is changing. I thought is not a consciousness. We cannot have a luxury to have two consciousnesses. Oh, that is the beauty of the self-inquiry, and that is the beauty of the non-practice. Mind somewhere deep inside says, after all, you asked me to close my eyes, I'm still doing. That mind is the impure mind. That mind still has to understand between the knowledge, between the awareness and the practice. And now follow the same thing that you are aware of the neck joint. Awareness. You're not doing anything. Your awareness shifts to that I thought. If I say the I thought shifts to an experience of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. You see that we are making the mind subtle. Are we making the mind subtle? It means we are doing anything. No, it is already subtle. And then we are aware of the space subtler. Then I said the space is awareness and awareness is space. Then I say this awareness cannot belong to the I thought because I cannot have a luxury of two consciousnesses. There is only one consciousness. Done. So what happened deeper inside the mind that I thought negated what is changing, what cannot be separate from me, it negated. I've already explained in many sessions what do you mean by negation. Negation is not an effort, not a fight, not a reaction. Whereas what I know, it appears to exist, it is not. That is negation. Means that is a part of the awareness. Oh, now I understand. So if your mind claims I have understood directly, you are already there. You are. We all are real self. And that is one real self. That is one consciousness. Because I thought returns again and again. That is why I ask you to just look. Look means feel, means aware of the shoulder joints. Then look at the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Then look at the space. Then the space is awareness, and awareness is space. Why the space is awareness? It is an objectless state. There is nothing to separate, because if there is an object in the mind to be separated, then only you have to inquire. The space is, that is why the space is awareness and awareness is space. You don't know I have a crazy mind today. I have lot of thoughts. Who is saying this? I thought. So whether there are crazy thoughts, whether there are good thoughts, both are revealed by the mind, cannot be separate from me, but it is false. I gave you the four, what did I say? The four factors or four conclusions of this metaphor. My friend, pick up. Pure consciousness reveals reflected consciousness. So the mind is a revelation. Crazy thoughts is a revelation. It cannot be me. You are just aware of that. So what is going to happen? I thought does not identify with any other thought. No identification. I thought dissolves. We reclaim our real self. Done. We are there. It's totally different from the Mondays and Thursdays, and both are complementing to each other. That is why I started this journey. The entire body. I am aware of the body. I told you, painting is nothing but the body, sense organ, the situation, the relationship, the people outside, etc., etc. And the mind is the third stage of the metaphor, is the reflected consciousness or the I thought or the mind or the intellect, whatever you want to name it. Canvas is independent. So entire body is a painting. And that painting revealed by first the subtle body. So I did not reveal it. Obviously, that's why we have a causal body that we are going to understand from the following sessions. So the body, again go back. I thought says yes, sensation, comfort in steadiness, very good. Space. So space is awareness and awareness is space. You are simply aware that this I thought is the false self that reveals the world of the body, mind, intellect, teacher, session, etc., is not me, cannot be separate from me. It is not me, but cannot be separate from me. If I am the water, I know it clearly. The wave cannot be separate from me. But if that water lives beneath the waves, it realizes, no, I know why I'm unnecessarily claiming I'm this wave, I'm that wave. Do you see the truth? I'm sick, I'm healthy, I have pain, I have pleasure, I have lot of money. It doesn't work. It is a part of the world, revealed by the mind. Mind is an I thought. That is not me. So what does that mean? What cannot be negated? What cannot be negated is consciousness. Well, is that me? Yes. Do I have a cognitive ability at this moment? What is that? Any thought is a revelation by the mind. What is revealed by the mind cannot be me, cannot be separate from me. How do I know? Thoughts can, and the mind can be negated, but who negates cannot be negated. And who negates the consciousness? Another way to put it, but unless we clearly reflect on this metaphor and we do the self inquiry, that brings to a phrase, let the thought come and go. Why come and go? They are changing. What is changing is not me. So why I stressed upon cognition. Cognition is just an awareness. Cognition is not an effort. The mind says but. That but comes from the I thought. You have to reclaim which one is you. But if do not work here. But an if comes because of the impurities in the mind. The mind is not clear. It is not ready for the self inquiry. And that is why I remember J. Krishnamurti says meditation, mindfulness is a state of extraordinary awareness where I am aware of what is changing in terms of the thought, feelings, sensations. At the same time, I am also aware that it is not me. Who is this I am? Is it mine? No. Is it I thought? No. Well, I thought keeps on changing, ego keeps on changing, mind keeps on changing. So then what? I have to do nothing. There is another way of this self inquiry through this metaphor. Any thought enters into the mind, image, or the vision, or the colors, that is the word. So, who has revealed this word? The mind, the subtle body. What is that subtle body? Is I thought, but there is some presence behind that I thought is the pure consciousness. That is what I am. So, in a way, you're not doing anything. That is the exact meaning of the metaphor that I always talk about in different practices of meditation, that you are standing across the road, you are doing nothing. There are different lanes on the highways. The traffic is going, coming and going. You are just a witness. With that word, the Master explains that consciousness is called the witness consciousness. That consciousness is called the knower. Why knower? You cannot negate it. Mind you, we can negate it. And we normally negate it in deep sleep. Because we negate it, the word is not there. What do you want to say? When you negate it consciously, if I use that phrase, you have negated the entire world. So how any thought can be present in the mind? You have negated. Even if they are present, they do not belong to you. The journey on Saturdays is the journey for the higher level of seekers. You can use the metaphor. Any I thought comes and I feel, I know. When you have that kind of a sensation, you know it's a subtle body, the reflected consciousness or the sketching. In comparison to the metaphor, our stress, pleasure, vision, and colors all belong to the world. That is the painting. They both are revealed. The mind reveals the world, but the consciousness reveals the mind and the world together. That cannot be negated. That is me. In a state of purity of the mind, that negation is possible. Otherwise, it will be an intellectual exercise. And we know, I know, non-verbally comparison with the metaphor of what is going on in the mind. This mind comes down. That is the beauty of the non-practice. When the water is full of dirt, even if the sunlight is there, we cannot see our face in that water. Or if there is a wind, strong waves in the water. I remember another metaphor. That water is the mind, filled with the dirt means the impurities. We don't apply the discernment and dispassion. So the dirt continues to be there. And the strong wind is the I thought, chasing peace and happiness in the world outside. Unless these two factors are, as long as these two factors are present in the mind, what I'm saying will never make a sense to you. Intellectually, it may make, but the intellectual is indirect knowledge. You see, do you see the way the masters explain everything clearly? You may have a thought, vision, colors. The moment they are there, oh, the mind is revealing this. No issue. I am just aware the mind is revealing, and the mind and the world is being revealed by the pure consciousness. That cannot be affected, cannot be dictated, cannot change. It never changes. I have to simply know it. The first time I recognize there are two eyes. One eye constantly changing. I am not. Other is I am. You claim, or I would say you reclaim. Why you reclaim? Because the false I we have been taking as the real I, we leave as it is. We have understood it is the wave in the water, it is the mirage water in the desert. All great masters follow the teaching of this text. Those who talk about 1 minute or 5 minutes of instant meditation, they are not even aware what is the Eastern wisdom. anything that I speak, it's a revelation, which is not me. Even if you are listening, that is also a revelation, is not me, not you. But after all, you are listening. But yes, in the beginning, you listening, you're learning, indirect, absorbed into the direct knowledge. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Be there, know yourself. Bring the hands down. We will share our experiences now. How are you, Stephen?
Good, thank you. I found that to be extremely peaceful and relaxing. Once again, as soon as you started talking, when this started, I closed my eyes and found myself in this space that, again, was just a vast space that just continued to expand as time went on. I've heard what you were saying, and it was like nothing was forced, nothing. It was just, I was just being. I was just there. And the concept that just resonated with me over and over again was this idea of negation. So anything that possibly came into my mind was immediately negated. And I was able to realize that that's not myself, and that's not me, and pure consciousness is who I am. And I found these moments of just nothingness, and it was more times than not. And like I said, it was just peaceful and relaxing and unforced, and natural. Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And you talked about negation, obviously, because choice should be there. Whether I'm this I thought that reveals the entire world outside with all pain, pleasure, problems, suffering, or behind that. So the master validates this, that is this I thought a consciousness? If it is, then what about the pure consciousness? Then we have two. You cannot have two consciousnesses. It is only one. So I thought is simply a matter. And still we run after the matter that is known as the ignorance. Beautiful. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you very much. That was really, really simply amazing, I guess is the best way to describe it. So I focused on the negate, the comment about awareness is what's left behind after we negate. So I focused on just negating everything until I negated the negating. And I was just in deep space. And the time just flew by.
Beautiful. What happens, we are naturally so-called aware of what cannot be negated, and that is what I am. So what cannot be negated, that is what I am. You keep on negating. And what happens, the time comes, there is a self-awareness. I cannot say I become aware of the real self, because that is also I. So it is just a self-awareness, and we are there. Beautiful. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. I think similar to what David and Stephen were saying, but I didn't think about the negating. What I guess seemed clear was that consciousness permeates everywhere and everything, but everywhere and everything doesn't permeate consciousness.
Beautiful. That's really a beautiful way to put it. And that is what the negation is. The moment I become aware that consciousness does not permeates everything, but everything is not in the consciousness, the moment we have already negated it, means we are already in that field of awareness. Beautiful. So happy. How are you, Brandy?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you. I found myself kind of wrestling with I guess I didn't think of the word negation, but the negation of the mind stuff and consciousness. And it was really timely when you said it happens when you're in deep sleep. I'm like, oh yeah, that's how this goes, right? You can still be here, your consciousness, and the consciousness is still here with all the other stuff going on, or not. So that was kind of my meditation was kind of divided between before you said that and after you said that, which was really helpful today.
Yeah. It happens, through many metaphors. What is self-inquiry? We have to use the thought, and the thought contains the different metaphors, examples to reflect. So to reflect, so what is this metaphor and the teacher teaching? It is the indirect knowledge. And the moment we use any metaphor, we just become aware. We are there. So you are right in saying that when we are in deep sleep, there is a natural negation of the mind and the world. We don't know about the mind, we don't know about the world. So yes, that's really good, wonderful. How are you, Terry? Where are you?
Hello. It was very easy. It was
Good.
I experienced awareness.
Yeah.
I just played with the awareness. I had awareness of the body. um, a couple of sounds outside the body, the space,
Yeah,
words I heard, and I played with the metaphors.
good.
I had the idea that I was like made of sand for a minute, and then it all blew away. But there was still one there that was kind of like made of, this is just a silly thing, but it's like there was a invisible one that was still there in the shape of me. Um, I don't know.
And
It,
there was no movement of the body at all.
no, and I could have continued.
I love it.
Yeah.
Why don't you continue at least 10 sessions before the Monday comes?
Okay.
Make it sure that this I thought moves the body. Let the science talks about your problem. We agree with it. It's a valid argument, whatever they say. But here, our learning is that if as long as the I thought reveals the movement in the body, then only the body will move. Did you understand? And if the I, because mind creates the world, so it is mind is nothing but the I thought says now my body is moving, but now you negate both of them. How dare your body can move, even in such a problem? Now, I'm not challenging this.
The other metaphor with the trees.
Yeah, that
one really works for me. So it's like the real self is driving, and the trees are not.
Yes.
Really, really appear to be.
So you have to live into this. Do 10 times. Listen to this, 10 hours. You will even forget eating anything. How are you, Sam? You are back?
Yeah, back in the New York.
Oh, you're back in New York, yes.
Yeah, I was also thinking about the concept of negation, and anytime thoughts were coming in, I was just negating them.
Yeah. So what should we do? There is a natural state of awareness that naturally negates what is the false self, created by the I thought plus the world outside, 24/7. Is the natural state of negation. How we negate? It's a neighbor's house, it's not mine. It's a negation. I know you, it means you are not me. It's a negation. It's so normal. So don't allow the mind to be very tough and heavy. Oh no, I will try, I will make an effort. No, that will not work. Wonderful. Sam, how are you? We are Webhub, yes.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I'm good. It's like before a problem to happen, a thought of problem is there. Then only a problem can happen. So if I negate that the thought itself is not there, then problem cannot come.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Consciousness reveals the mind reveals the thought. Even mind is a revelation. So if the mind is a revelation, it cannot be separate from me, but at the same time, it is not me. So once we have that understanding in the field of awareness, we are already there. That's good. That's a good point you mentioned. That is what I want. That is all the sign of our progress. How are you, Ashok?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. You're angry over me?
Not at all.
Just joking. Yeah.
I thought is like there is a fake eye. I understand. I thought it's a fake eye, and the pure consciousness. No, I mean that is a pure eye, or you can say that.
Yeah.
So it was I mean, fully relaxed, and one body was not there, but I mean body was there, but I was very much aware with the body,
Yeah.
breath and everything. They were very peaceful and quiet and calm. Uh, and it was accepting everything. I mean, any noise, any disturbance, it was accepting anything and negating. I mean, the negating the
Yeah. Yeah.
other things as well.
That's a good point. You can use the word fake eye or false eye. It is the same thing. And the moment we recognize, we have a cognitive ability to recognize that fake I, which is a revelation which cannot be separate from me, but at the same time, it is not me. Why it is not me? Because it is constantly changing.
It is constantly changing. Yes, that is
So
a
then,
reflection. Yeah.
yeah, then we are there. My
Mhm.
honey is constantly changing. Let him or her say anything. Who cares? No, I'm joking. That your honey is also my student. So, how are you, Kate?
Thank you for offering the teachings and holding the space. My experience was a lot like Jerry's and living in awareness.
Good, good, very good. So we will continue our journey. Thank you very much. We
Thank you,
will begin.
Thank you, sir.
everyone.
Say everyone.
Namaste, everyone.
Namaste, everyone.